This is the parametric question from 2012. Notice again, they gave us that at time equals 2, we're at a certain position of 1, 5, and they've given us our velocity in both the x and y direction. This is a calculator problem. Remember, in parametric calculator questions, I ask you to do y1 is going to be x prime, y2 is going to be y prime, y3 is going to be y2 over y1, and remember that is the slope. y4 is going to be the square root of y1 squared plus y2 squared, and that is your speed. And remember, the integral of speed is the distance traveled. Part A. Is the horizontal movement of the particle to the left or to the right at t equals 2? Explain your answer. Well, if I'm talking about moving right and left, we're talking about dx dt. So dx dt at time equals 2 would be the square root of 4 over e squared. I know this is bigger than 0. So since dx dt is bigger than 0, at time equals 2, particle is moving to the right. That was only the first part of the problem. The second part says, find the slope of the path at time equals 2. So the slope is the same thing as dy dx, but we're in parametric, so we're going to do y dt over dx dt. So that would be dy dt is sine squared t over dx dt. And I would do this completely in my calculator. I would say dy dx at time equals 2, and in my calculator I'd go to y3 on the home screen and put parentheses 2, and that will evaluate the slope at 2, and we get 3.055. Part B. Find the x-coordinate of the particle's position at time equals 4. So we want to know where our particle is in the x position at time equals 4. We use the position we started at, or a position we know, which would be time equals 2. And then we're going to talk about how the distance changes, which is the integral of velocity in the x direction. So for us, y2 was equal to 1, and then we're going to integrate the square root of t plus 2 over e to the t. And again, in my calculator, I would do 1 plus the integral from 2 to 4 of y1, and we get 1.253. Part C, find the speed of the particle at time equals 4. So the speed at time equals 4 is square root of x prime at 4 squared plus y prime at 4 squared. And putting that in our calculator, again on my home screen, I would go to y4 and plug in 4. And our speed is 0.575. It also wants us to find the acceleration vector at time equals 4. So the acceleration vector at time equals 4 is going to be the second derivative of x at 4, the second derivative of y at 4. And again, we have that stored in y1 and y2, so we're just going to take the derivative of both of those in our calculator. So negative 0.041 and 0.989. And lastly, part D. D says the distance traveled from 0 to 2. So remember, the distance traveled is the integral of speed. So we're going to integrate from 2 to 4 of the speed formula. dt. And again, in your calculator, you're going to go to your home screen, Math 9, get the integral, then grab y4 and integrate it. And this works out to be 0.651. So of course we need to pay attention to how it was scored. The first point comes from moving to the right with explanation. Second point comes from the fact that you know to use dy dt over dx dt. And the third point comes from actually saying what the slope was, calculating it. Part B is worth 2 points, one for writing the integral, one for writing the answer. C is worth 2 points, one for finding the speed, one for finding the acceleration. And the distance traveled, 1 point for writing the equation and 1 point for the distance. Always, always, always write every single one of the expressions that you're going to be using, because they're often a point associated with it. Not always, but you don't know when it's going to be associated or not. So please just do it every single time.